Let me see. I need to share myself out. Oh. Hey guys, I'm here. Give me one moment. Hey guys, I'm here. Give me one moment. One moment. All right. Microphone checker. Microphone checker. Microphone checker. Let me see. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, everybody. Let me know if you can hear me okay in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me okay in the chat. Double tap the screen or something. I just want to make sure before I start talking that you guys can hear me. Awesome sauce. What's up, you guys? It's your girl Summer. Welcome to Summer's Rooms 2 Cents, where we talk about the tea, where I give my personal opinion and unbiased, at least I strive to be unbiased opinion on what I have been covering in these social media streets. What's up, Simply P? Hey, Toya's Truth. What's up, Renee Fields? Hey, calling out nonsense. Make sure y'all go follow Toya's Truth on YouTube as well. She be dropping content over there. If you are interested in family content, a little bit of goofiness, silliness, comedy, that's where you want to be, okay? If you guys didn't catch the caption, we got some things to talk about. The internet has been on fire the last 24 hours in regards to Miss Brianna Battle and Robert Hampton. Okay. If you guys miss it, we're gonna get into it. I don't think I meant to drop a video on YouTube and I didn't. I dropped it on Facebook. This was a weird experience. What happened? Cause you came on here and I was MIA? My bad. My apologies. My apologies, y'all. Before we get into the tea, make sure y'all double tap the screen because I know I got more than one supporter in here. Double tap the screen just like you do on that clock app so we could get the likes matching the viewership. And don't be afraid to share. Sharing is caring. The more you like, the more YouTube will recommend me. And go ahead and share it out to your homies so that they know that we over here. I don't know. What swipe up nonsense you getting? What's that you getting? Let me make sure I can get my clips that I wanted to use. Okay, I'm in here. Okay, okay, okay. We're there and we have it. Liked and shared. Thank you so much for calling on. It looked like you're the only one that liked and shared. Before we get into the tea with Rob and Brianna though, I want to tell you guys you may notice now when you join my lives that I have products tagged to my lives because they put me in a influencer program. And one thing you guys are gonna always see tagged to my profile is products that I actually use, which is the ordinary. I know I get a lot of compliments on my skin and stuff like that. I have a face routine when I do follow it. It's very simple, and this is my moisturizer of choice. Let me take this background off because it's not letting me do what I want to do. Hold on. Bam. This is my moisturizer of choice. It's by The Ordinary. I believe this one is $22, I think. A little goes a long way. I love this. It does not leave my face feeling oily or greasy, and I feel hydrated throughout the day. And this is old, so you can't see it, and you're gonna always see this sunscreen super goop tag to my videos because I actually use these products. And when I say this is a little expensive, how much did I pay for this? Did I pay 30 bucks, 40 bucks? This is a little bit expensive. It's 40 SPF. I love this sunscreen. Yes, people that are my complexion needs to be wearing sunscreen. If you're not wearing sunscreen, get you some, okay? Don't leave the house without it. Even when you think it's dreary outside, get it. You just need a little dot. Boop, 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 boop. Rub it in. You good to go. A little goes a long way. And this lasts me for months. Like it's worth it. It's worth it. Hey 304. Hey girl. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Whew. So go check out them products. And I also have just realized I could tag sugar-free Kool-Aid. Boom tropical. This is what I'm drinking today. From Walmart, two something, cheapest you won't find it, and this is what we sipping on today. I don't have my cup because I couldn't find it. I don't know what I did with it. I don't know what I did with it. But anyway, we finna get into some Robert Hampton and Brianna tea. Okay. I don't know if you guys missed it or have been watching, but recently, um, it was revealed that, or not revealed, people were waiting for it because they knew it was coming, I guess. As some way, somehow they knew it was coming. I know Rob had talked about Brianna possibly being in contempt. He was like, kind of indirectly with some of the stuff that was going on social media or whatnot. And he filed, and people had this paperwork and started going crazy. Okay, so he is taking Brianna back to court. He's filing contempt against her for a few things, and in this filing, one of the things that are huge is the mention of Brianna's father. Now, I did not go purchase or look. I did not go purchase the paperwork myself. I tried to look for it, but I'm not really good with pulling up court documents. I never could find stuff. I don't know how people be finding court documents and stuff like that, but I never could find it. So I could not verify the information on my own with the paperwork. However, I did do my due diligence. Okay. So shout out to Lupac Baby. She is the live that I actually watched in detail last night when she was breaking down the paperwork. She broke down the paperwork and also the charges for Brianna's father, allegedly. But I also tuned into the other side as well. I had tuned into Let's Talk About, I think it's Let's Talk About It with Amora. And we all know that she is Team Brianna. And so I kind of listened to what she was saying. Not kind of, I listened to what she was saying. Hey, look, I kind of listened to what Let's Talk About It, what Amora was saying, and compared it to what Lupac read, and they were pretty much identical. What they were reading off the paperwork. So I felt like I could trust this source from where the information came from. And so we're going to get into I took a few short clips from her live so you guys can hear what she read from the paperwork versus just me telling you. And we're going to run it down. Poison in your brain watching her. Watching who, Luck? Poison in my brain watching who? I mentioned two people. So who you referring to? You talking about Lupac or Amora? And what's up? Welcome to the live. Make sure you double tap the screen, you guys. Am I too loud? Because I speak loud. I have a my voice carries for sure. And I think I can't hear myself or something. Maybe I need to get my hearing checked. But when I go to the doctor, they always say my hearing good. Lupac, you saying Lupac is poison? Why? Well, we'll get into that later. I do want to do an open panel maybe later on after this. We'll see. So one of the reasons that Rob is filing for contempt against Brianna was when he claims that when he went to pick up his daughter for spring break, that Brianna played in his face pretty much. Okay. And we're going to get into what he said. So he said April 18th, he was supposed to pick up. I'm interested in hearing your opinion too. Okay. He went to go pick up, they were supposed to, do the exchange of Mumu on April 18th because that's when her spring break um, was happening, I guess, in the day he was supposed to get her. Well, I had covered this in a previous live, right? Because when all that stuff was happening about the passport and him saying he wasn't signing it, and her, put the post up looking for ways around it, and this, that, and the third. And then it came out that he supposedly didn't pick up Mumu because he wanted to go to the club. But then his sister Dawn went live and was like, I ain't gonna say too much, but come on now. That was real cute, kind of how Brianna had posted a video or something at their meeting location that everyone is aware of, and a different part of Georgia. A different I speak the truth and Lupac is 100. Let me not read the comments because I'm gonna get distracted. Um and I was like, I had asked the commenters because I'm like, I don't know. I said, but just hypothetically speaking, right? I had said, what if they change locations at some point after the judge's ruling on the location? I'm like, that could have been a thing where they switch locations because Dawn mentioned in a live that they were no longer meeting at that location. They were meeting somewhere else, and this, that, and the third, but she was going to leave it alone. I guess because she knew her brother was going to file paperwork, right? So in the paperwork that he filed, he states that ever since the end of December, I want to say the date she said was like December 30th or something like that, was the last time that they met at the original meeting point, that both of them had relocated. Now, this is how much I don't pay attention. I know Rob had moved. I didn't know that Brianna moved after the divorce finalization. I didn't know that. I thought she was already living in the home she was in. But apparently, both of them relocated, and the location that they were originally meeting at in the paperwork became a distance. So they both came to an agreement mutually based on what he put in his paperwork for them to meet at a different location that was more convenient to them. this was not changed in the court documents, but he states in the paperwork that proof can be seen inside, I think, the Parenting Act, that they had changed locations, and they decided on a new location because it was better suited for both of them. And so on the day in question, Rob states that without any prior notification, that all of a sudden Brianna wanted to meet back at the old location. Now, I said this, I said in my live, I believe I said, like, now, if it wasn't changed, the language wasn't changed in the paperwork, that's kind of where he leaves himself kind of vulnerable, because it will depend on, like, if it's true, it will depend on what judge you get. Like, the judge can be like, well, in the paperwork, it say y'all supposed to be meet here. Yeah, she may have met you in these different locations on these dates and times, but it does not trump what's in the paperwork, right? However, if he has an agreement, if he gets say he gets a different type of judge and he say she's kind of sensible, like, well, yeah, this was on the paperwork, but you can clearly see where you both came to an agreement. If he could show in those messages where they both came to an agreement because the other location was too far, and this is where we're going to meet at from here forward, he may have, that may be, what am I trying to say? The judge may say, well, to Brianna, well, why all of a sudden did you change your mind the last minute on this day in question to meet here versus where you guys have been meeting the last couple of months? Because honestly, I would ask that, especially if he's saying it was no prior knowledge of the location changing, right? Now, I personally do not know how far the meeting place is. I don't know how far the meeting place is, from where they were meeting now versus before. I don't know exactly when, but it sounds like he found out at the time he was like going to meet her, because he said he had no prior knowledge and it was like abrupt that it was changing. So I don't know if like they were already en route and then she was there and then he was there. I don't know what the distance is between the location. So I'm like, well, if she told you she was going there, I'm like, well, you could have just went there to go get your daughter. Yeah, it's a hassle, and it's like, dang, why you playing in my face? Like, we're not meeting here. We meet there. You trying to be smart. Me as a parent, sometimes you just got to suck it up and do what you have to do, right? Go to the other location, go get your daughter. Now, flip side, I don't know what part Brianna plays in it. Like, I don't know if this is true, and this is all alleged and speculation at this point because we really don't know. We only know what people have read, right? So let's say that was the situation. She there, he there. I don't know what the distance is. I don't know if Brianna was not willing to wait for him to arrive on location. I don't know if he suggested, well, can you meet me in the middle? And she said no. Like, I don't know those other factors, because he could have attempted to still meet her at the old location, but because she's already there and he's not there yet, she could have been like, no, I'm not waiting on you. So I don't know. I have no clue. So I'm like, but it sounds like he feels like she played in his face, like she did it on purpose. And he's saying that she believes she started playing and moving funny because he got some other stuff, I guess, coming down the tailpipe for Brianna. I heard something about, allegedly, now I don't know if this is true, but something about he's suing her for like $7,000. I don't know if that's true. And other he filed some other contempt accusations and stuff like that. This was in the paperwork that was read on these lives that I listened to. So I'm just like, on one side, if that is the case, and she was just being weird, because we know with baby mama and baby daddy drama, you split up is messy. People do messy things, and she could have went to the old location to be smart. And then he could have attempted, and she could have rejected. She could have shot down his suggestion on how he could still get his daughter. I don't know. I know with this information coming out though, let me see. From my understanding, he didn't know then. Yeah, from what I read, it sounds like he didn't. So I guess the judge will see what's in the act because they can't. Right. So the fact that he said that it's in the parenting app or whatever app it is, I'm like, why would he put that in the paperwork? Like, if he's not telling the truth? Because some of the lives I were listening to that's like anti Rob look like he gonna have to prove that, and they don't believe that, and this is that and the third. And I'm like, well, if this is the paperwork and you're reading this paperwork, this legal document, and he's saying it's in an app that's suggested by the state and they have access to it. Why would he lie about that if he's not going to be able to prove that it was an agreement between the two? That would be kind of weird. Like, wouldn't it? Man, them bloggers blogged on Brianna father in the beginning and it died down because it was BS. Now Robert playing in these old women's, I ain't there yet. I ain't gonna skip ahead. Let me see. Hey, Teresa, how you doing, love? Ooh, now you gotta go get your raid. Y'all be nice in the comments. No, you are wrong, Summer. They came to an agreement and the parenting app is documented. I said that, Auntie Pimo. Maybe you're not listening. Maybe you're not listening. Or maybe you came in late, but I said that. So maybe you missed it. Um, Enjoy the rest of your night, Auntie P. Just like he lied about calling Bree 70 times. And if I thought it was proven that he did call her back to back to back. I don't know about 70 times, but I thought that it was proof that he did call her back to back to back or something like that. They never listen. And if she claims calls or text messages, judge will use it. Let me see. Hey, Toya Boo. So I'm like, this just seems very messy. And I'm like, for him to put it on paperwork and then see you, they never listen by. So I don't know what she listened to, but I definitely said that he said that it was in the act. So I don't know what Auntie heard. Summer, I gotta be 100. Bree wrong for a lot of this nonsense. She may be. She may be wrong. Rod may be wrong. I don't know. I'm just reporting what I heard. Summer, is there a reason she took him off the school? I ain't get there yet. Stop. Y'all, we gonna get there. Try not to rush me along with what I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna cover that. So, um, and how would I know? I'm here. I have no clue. And I don't be trying to figure out why. You did laugh like they don't listen to understand, they listen to respond. Yeah. Okay, so um I was like, dang. So after, that situation on the 18th didn't pan out. Apparently it didn't pan out. He never got Momo, and Brianna and them end up in a different they end up going somewhere. I can't remember where they went, but they end up going somewhere doing celebrating Easter. I can't remember exactly where. I should have wrote that down somewhere, but I can't remember where. So it was apparent that he never got Momo that weekend, right? So then boom, fast forward, they back in school, it's time to get back to it. Rob decides now, this is something that kind of stuck out to me, right? Rob decides that he's going to go up to the school to go check on Momo. Maybe he said, I didn't go get her for the Easter break, spring break. I want to go check on her, say hi to my baby, check on her schooling, et cetera, et cetera. He say he get to the school and they like, deny access. You can't come in here selling no. And according to him, Brianna put in paperwork barring him from being able to see, make contact, get information from the parents, the school, and anything about his daughter. He says that he presented the legal paperwork showing like, what do y'all mean? I got custody, like, I have a right to be here to see, to ask, y'all preventing me from exercising my rights as a father. So, the school can't battle out custody agreements and stuff like that. But I'm like, dang, with the paperwork, they couldn't do nothing. But I guess like they don't know if it's old paperwork, new paperwork. The paperwork he presented, is dated for when it's dated, but it could have been another court date that overturned that paperwork. So they don't know. So they said we're gonna have to just go ahead and consult with our lawyers and then go from there. We'll have to take like the proper channels. They protecting themselves as they should be. But I said, oh baby. So I'm wondering because I don't pay that close enough attention. I'm not gonna hold you because they're not the only people that I cover. So I had this question: was this the first time that he tried to go to the school this whole time? And it sounds like they said it was a change that Brianna submitted some type of paperwork, but at what point did she submit this paperwork? Was it before or after the agreement, the divorce decree, like for custody agreement? Was it before or after? That's my question because that's not clear. For two, if that was in place, like did he just find out when he popped up there for the first? Was this the first time he popped up there? You know what I'm saying? And then people was like, he already knew he wasn't going to be able to get access to Amora, and that's why he did what he did. Yeah, the first he didn't show to her graduation. Now I heard he didn't go to the graduation, but was that before or after the divorce, like the custody agreement? The man never been to that baby school. That's why they didn't let him in there. Well, that wouldn't be a reason why they didn't let him in there, Latanya. Um, my daughter's father doesn't live in the same state as us. So he is not a parent that typically goes back and forth to the school. However, if he came up here today because he's listed on her school paperwork, he'll have access to the school. He'll have access for the school. So that's him not being there, never being there is not really a reason for them to tell him no. It would have to be something in place saying no, he can't go. That was after. Okay. I do remember that being a conversation. So I'm like, Now this is all speculation because I'm like, has he never really been there this entire time? And was this his first time going there? And did Brianna know? Because like this could have been something that Brianna put in place before the agreement, and it just was forgotten about because he doesn't frequent her school. Ooh, Nacho said no worries, Big Ja was there for her. Ooh, look, okay, Big Ja. The one that Brianna said spit in her face and choked her out and all that stuff. The biggest Hebrew, okay. Pop your stuff, look. But anyway, um, so those were my questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, when was this put into place? And this is giving Brianna the benefit of the doubt. Like, this could have already been put in place when they was beefing before the custody agreement. She could have forgot about it, never changed it. Um, and boom, Rob go up there and all HE double hell sticks, break out. My other question is, did he already know that he wasn't going to be able to get into the school? I ain't never been spit in my face. Look, I ain't been choked out with bruises. So I mean, and if that's the case, right? Look, if that's the case, right, then shouldn't we carry that same attitude with Robert Hampton because it's allegations against him from abuse from years ago, right? Jaws is recent. But let me not get distracted. I just feel like if we gonna give one person a pass, like in such situations, that y'all have to do it on both sides. It shouldn't just be one side. You know what I'm saying? And when these things happen with Brianna and Rob, they were married. When these alleged things that I still haven't seen proof of happened with Rob and Brianna, they were actually married. Brianna and Ja are not married. They don't have any ties. They didn't have any ties to each other at the time. Now she has a babies by him after the alleged abuse that he inflicted on her. So I'm just like, if we gonna get one side of pass, why we ain't giving the other side of pass? But I don't know who abused who. This is just what Brianna claims. I ain't seen proof of nothing. None of either one of the stories could have never happened. You know what I'm saying? Because we know people make stories up, but I'm not here to say Brianna is a liar, Rob is a liar, or Jai is a liar. But if we're gonna be forgiving people, then I just feel like it should be on both sides. What up, Des? My child's school does not let you come into the school without an appointment, no matter the parent. I can go up to my daughter's school at any given time. Hey, Queen Fee, how you doing, beautiful? I can go up to my somebody wrote something. Y'all probably using words that YouTube don't like or I don't like. So if you reword whatever you wrote, it'll probably pop up. Think about the word you use and then don't use that word no more. Yeah, but I don't know. I can go up to my daughter's school at any time. You can't just walk through the school, but you have to stop into the office, show your ID, prove who you are. And if I want to talk to the teacher, I might have to wait. I could talk to the principal, the assistant principal, the admin, the nurse. I could go up there and say, "Hey, I need to see my daughter," and they will go get her and bring her down. I don't have to pre-schedule. First of all, nobody gonna tell me I gotta pre-schedule to see my child because for me that's a problem. If I want to pop in to come see my daughter or my son while they're in school, I should be able to do that. Because if not, I'm gonna be wondering what y'all got going on. I do mostly the school stuff, but if the dad decides they want to show up, they can. There is no reason he should the listed as an authorized person, period. Like that's how I feel too. I feel like a lot of times we involve our own personal feelings in our mess and it don't be having nothing to do with the kids. Same goes for Robert. He's not disliked and blackballed because of him being abusive. It's his character. He's a bad dude, disrespectful, and never own up his mistake. Okay. Look, got you. So, uh, what I was gonna say. So, I don't know what that's about. We're gonna have to see. He should be listed. God forbid something happens to her. He needs to get his right. Robert lived 5 minutes away from his daughter and didn't go see her for 7 to 8 months, not even at the school. Latanya, I remember that, but Rob also claims that he was being prevented from seeing his daughter. So we have one side saying we have Rob saying he was being prevented from seeing his daughter, and then we have another side, and I don't even know if Brianna ever said this, that he just wasn't a part of her life. So who's telling the truth? I'm not finna pick a side. I don't know. But job beating right now, so we just gonna sweep. He beating on her right now. There's proof of them setting him up, framing him. Wait, is incidents going on right now? We got proof of Janelle, like new situations? Oh my. Oh my Lancer. The mother was alien. Right, that's what I'm saying. We got one side, we have one side saying that he was being prevented from seeing the baby, and then you have the other side saying no, he just wasn't trying to see the baby. Who am I to say who was telling the truth? You know what I'm saying? Because we both know we have bitter baby mamas and then we have bitter baby daddies, and they just cause a bunch of abruption. I'm just reporting what I saw, but I don't know what side is true. Even with all this, I still don't feel like he should have 100% custody. Maybe going back and refining what they already got going on. Well, yeah, he does give a second option. So moving on from the school stuff. So I don't. It made me question. So you ain't never been to the school to that day, and if so, if you had been there previously, how long ago were you there, and did that information at the school just change recently? Those are my questions. Questions I don't have answers to. And so then we're going to move forward. So another part of the agreement is that he's supposed to be able to communicate with Momo at least 15 minutes, I think, a day via the parenting app. And he's claiming, and this is not the first time that I have heard this circulate. And I don't know if Rob said it out his own mouth, but there was conversations around the fact that there were times where he's trying to reach his daughter, communicate with his daughter, and he's not getting answers. They're not picking up. They're not responding to text messages and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Message retracted. So, and he said that he has proof. And I'm like, the parenting app, I don't think you can delete nothing out there. And even if you can, say by chance you can, I'm pretty sure that those messages can be recovered some way, shape, or form. And I know it was something about her tablet, I guess, that the parenting app was on at one point got broken. A tablet shouldn't be nothing to neither one of them. You can go get an Amazon tablet for less than $100. You know what I'm saying? To make it easy for the baby to be able to communicate with her dad. You know what I'm saying? So he's saying that she ain't meeting up with him for them to see the baby. He not able to contact the baby on the parent app for 15 minutes after 6 p.m. Like what's really going on? You know what I'm saying? What's really going on? And I'm just saying, like, if he listed all this stuff on this documentation, this legal documentation that he's going to take to court, I just don't see why he would make that up knowing that he's not going to be able to prove the stuff that he said. This is just me thinking logically, right? So then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get into the situation where is an agreement that their daughter won't be around anyone with like a criminal history about harming children and stuff like that. And he claims that during mediation, it was a question asked to Brianna. I want to say specifically about the dad, and she denied that he had any. He denied that her dad had any criminal past or anything like that in his past. Now, I've seen a couple of people say that bloggers covered that. No one ever said he touched his daughter. Stop it. What happened? Oh, why y'all in these comments fussing like this? Let me see. Where was all this information in the beginning? Exactly, Queen just pushed out there. They are saying he touched his oldest daughter while out on that man because he asked him for. Why would y'all? That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Where is this proof at? What proof, Luck? Sorry, I don't know what you're referring to. Can you tell me? If you write something in the comments, can y'all kind of insert what y'all referring to? Because sometimes I say a whole lot, and by the time I look down and see y'all comment, I ain't gonna know what y'all talking about. All right, Queen Fee, thank you for coming by. Let's see. The only thing he used that parenting app for is to curse Brianna out because she do not answer her phone for him. Well, that would be weird for him to use the parenting app to curse her out because it could be used against him in a court of law, Lasagna. That's wild. Have y'all seen these screenshots of him cursing her out? That's crazy. Um, so he is saying at some point he found out that Brianna's father allegedly was convicted of some serious crimes, right? And those crimes include two offenses of second degree rape, remove the G, indecent liberties with a child, two offenses of crime against nature, two counts of misdemeanor incest. Now, when I heard these charges, I'm like, what? Now, this is supposed to happened in August of 92. So I went to go look up for some clarification, like, exactly what these charges could mean, right? Because we want to understand what we're talking about. So let's say in North Carolina, second degree rape refers to engaging in vaginal intercourse with another person under specific circumstances, distinct from first. That's the distinction from first degree rape. So it says a person is guilty of second degree forcible rape if the person engages in vaginal intercourse with another person by force or against the will of the other person, or who has a mental disability or who is mentally incapacitated or physically helpless, meaning they drunk, they're not of sound mind and things like that. And the person performing the act knows it, knows it. Um, So I was like, dang, that sounds pretty serious, right? And then it says, I went to go look up what is indecent liberties with the child. So it says a person commits this offense if they are at least 16 years old and at least 5 years older than a child. So you could be 16 when you commit in the act, and then a person can be 11, right? You can commit indecent liberties with the child. So it says, and they either take indecent liberties with the child under 16 for sexual gratification or commit a lewd act upon a child. They said the law is broad to cover various forms of sexual misconduct with a minor. It says the actions must be actually motivated, put an S on there, and the child's consent is not a factor. That is a class F felony in North Carolina. What's covered by this offense is, oh, a crime against nature. Let me tell y'all, I never heard look, she just be lying just to lie. Oh, so Naeem and look, I'm assuming y'all anti Queen Fee. Oh, why y'all getting on my girl like that? Naeem and Luck, do y'all have a page or are y'all just viewers? Because I've never seen your name before. So if y'all have a page, let me know so I can go and check y'all out if y'all go live or present any information. I know who Queen Fee is, but I'm not familiar. Or are you guys just viewers or do you have a page? Cause y'all is going in. Well, that's apparent that you Team Bree Luck the way you going on in on Queen Fee. That's apparent. Another charge that her father allegedly has is crime against nature. And I'm not gonna hold y'all. When I heard crime against nature, I'm thinking like, no page, I need one. Okay. When I heard crime against nature, I'm thinking he done went to the bathroom outside against a tree or something. My ignorance, my complete ignorance, right? So I go to look it up. And I'm like, oh, I'm completely off. Okay. And so this could be with mankind or a beast. So it's inserting by a male of his sexual organ into the mouth or booty of another male or female. The receiving by a male or female of the sexual organ of a male into his or her mouth or booty. Fellatio, cunnilingus, analingus, and the inserting of an object into a person's genital opening. So he was into some strength. He was out here in these streets doing some things. I'm scared of him. And so I'm like, dang, how didn't he know about this? And I'm gonna lie, it's people in our very own families that probably committed some crimes that we don't have no excuse about. However, when he said that this was asked, Bree was asked about this during their mitigation or mediation, sorry. I'm wondering like what that conversation was like. Was it a situation where like they were asked and Bree was like, no, that's not true, and they just moved along because that's not criminal court. They're not there to plead no cases or nothing. They were just there to try to figure out how they were going to move forward. So did he just accept her word for what it was? And what does that mean for Bree? Like if he asked her that and she said no, what does that mean for Bree? Because it could be two ways, right? Bree could have flat out lied, or she could have just not known. This happened in '92. How old was Bree? Was she even born at the time? Was she even born at the time? I don't know what year she was born in, but I know she's younger, way younger than me. And she would have been a kid, a baby at that point. So she could have just not known about it. Because I can't see that being a conversation her dad is just having with her, like, yeah, baby girl, back in the day, your dad was out here, blah, 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 or I was accused of or framed of. Like, I don't see that being a conversation. That doesn't sound like something the dad is going to have a conversation with her. And this is not me giving an excuse. This is just me trying to figure out because I wasn't there. I don't know. So it could be a situation if this conversation was had, if the question was asked and Bree really said no, it could be a situation where Brianna just didn't know about it and or she lied. Now y'all seeing bloggers covered it years ago. I don't know. I wasn't a part of the saga when all this stuff was breaking out on the internet. I haven't seen any clips resurface yet. I did hear Amora say that some bloggers had covered it back in the day, but I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not gonna hold y'all. I take what Amora say with a grain of salt. After she herself admitted that she lied, I don't ignore stuff like that. So I don't know. If y'all have a clip, something I can see, I would love to see. And if it was covered years ago when all this stuff was happening, then Robert knew about Bree father because when he was rocking with his internet sister, he shared it with her and told her to share it on social media. What? Is it a live podcast that is that I can watch or a clip of the live that she did, the internet sister did? What? Now I watched that story about the internet sister, like when everything kind of broke out with them and her flipping out on Rob, but I don't remember her mentioning that. But I like to see stuff firsthand, not just like hearsay. So if it's a clip of something that I can watch, my page on Facebook is the same as Summer's Room. It was covered when I'm gonna go look at this. I've never ever of all the stuff I've come across, all the stuff I've heard, I have never heard this until last night about her dad. I haven't seen not nobody blink. So my question is, if it's old news, why did he ignore it back then? Why is he not? Why is he bringing it up now? Because if this is true, in my opinion, and people can feel how they want to feel, right? In my opinion, if this is true, I think him requesting that his child not be left alone with the father, I think that's reasonable. He didn't say that he doesn't want her around her grandfather. He just said he doesn't want her left alone with her grandfather. The sister came out with it. Yep, true. He the one who gave it to internet sister to post. What? Well, why is he? My question would be, why is he just now bringing this up? Yeah, I don't really look for nothing until it come up, Naima, because I'm not invested in just their story. I cover a lot of people, so I'm gonna see if I can find a clip, and if somebody want to send me one, my inbox is open to Summer's Room. But whoosh, it's definitely a lot I don't know because I don't just focus on them for my content. So it's a lot that I'm not privy to. But my question would be, if that is in fact true, and the internet sister should have proof of that, where she could zip line on over to Brianna, right? If that's true, why would you just now bring that up now? Why would you just now bring that up now? And if there is proof that he gave this to the internet sister, and knowing that the internet sister doesn't care for him at all, that's clear across the board. He will be setting himself up to look goofy in the courtroom, don't y'all think? His name is Walter Battle. Walter Battle is his name. And I believe the charges were in North Carolina. Walter Battle. But Summer, why wasn't it a problem when he was married to her? Walter always. That's what I'm saying. Well, so I had asked on my post I put up earlier too was because he's clarifying that it's not that he doesn't want her around him at all. She just doesn't want him left alone. Was it a time when they were together, when they were married, when Rob left his daughter unattended with the father? Because there was some back and forth commotion in my comments. Some people saying when y'all seen him, y'all seen them. They wasn't left alone. And then there's some other people saying it was. So I don't know who telling the truth. Well, he himself said he brought it up during the divorce. So at some point, he that's what so Jessica, I was like, well, what made him ask that? Like, what what made him ask that during the divorce? If he specifically asked about Brianna's father, that stuck out to me. If you specifically asked about Brianna's father during the divorce, What made you ask about the father? Now he states in the paperwork that they read, he said that he always had some type of feeling, is what he kind of said. So, but if it's something out there to prove that he already knew or was aware, that's gonna come back to bite him in the booty for sure. Because none of this came out until the separation divorce. Man, them bones be falling out them closets. So I'm just saying, for me, I ain't on one side or the other because I have questions about both sides. I could look at it and be like, that's a little strange. If you brought it up in mediation, you had an inclination for something, and so why would you just accept breathe no? Because you could go do a research. You know where the man live at, where they from, some history. You could have went and looked something up, and just like somebody was able to send you the paperwork recently, y'all could have looked it up before, right? Let me see. Robert's sister Toya told this story. Toya even brought the so-called girl up on her platform. What? So why he acting like he just found out today? So the thing that blows my mind, right? If this is true, is why pretend like you just found out now if you've been new? Because if I was a judge, I would look at you as you trying to be manipulative, like you're just trying to pile stuff on top of each other because you feel like it would be an advantage for you now. Because if it wasn't a problem then and you knew then, why are we here now with this information? Now, granted, like I said, with the information, if these charges are indeed true about the dad, I can absolutely understand a man or a woman saying, I don't want my kid around that person by themselves. Shit, I would have said, I don't want them around them, period. But I think just saying like around them alone, like I think that should be respected. But if you knew all this time, why is the question is why now? Why now is it a problem? He no one knows what he knew. Also, he said he wants supervised visits, and when they was together, the visits were probably supervised. No one knows what he knew. He also said he wants supervised visits, and when they was together, the visits were probably supervised. You mean with the dad, Rosie or Ivy? That man didn't know about the charges until after the fallout. Someone sent him the info. So when he asked in court during the divorce, she lied. Oh, so Chantel, if that is indeed true, right? You said that man didn't know about the charges until after the fallout. Someone sent him the info. So when he asked in court during the divorce, she lied. But that would be you confirming that he already knew during that time and he didn't make a big deal of it. So why now is he making a big deal of it today, Chantel? Because he could have presented that during the proceedings to make sure that boundary was set in place from the jump, right? I don't know. We finna find out. Wait until we finna find out when they go to court. I know it's gonna spill. He's a scammer, not a scammer. They believe anything. How long ago did they get separated? A year. It's been a year. Look. Oh my gosh, somebody with sense. Yeah, I try my hardest not to just. I'm not Team Bree and I'm not Team Rob. I don't have a team for nobody. If and I've said this before, if Briana do something I feel like it's positive and I catch it, I'll celebrate it. If Rob do something I think is positive, I'll separate it. And I'm not the type to kind of hang on to a bunch of like things. If they moving forward, they doing their thing, do their thing. But that's some questions. Those are questions we can't ignore. I'm gonna go see if I can actually go find information on whether he actually knew or not. But if these are true, and because it sounds like some of even the Robert supporters are in the chat saying that he already knew. Even the supporters are in here saying he already knew. So if he already knew, why is he now bringing this up now? Not saying it ain't legit, but baby, you should have been raising hell about it, not just right now. Like, what changed? What if I was a judge? My question would be, what changed from you knowing back then? So because I feel like he said in October of something, I need to go back and go listen to the clip that I collected because I feel like she said he found out after the allegations of domestic violence was put out by Briana, which was a while ago, right? That when that happened, that's when people started inboxing him the information about the dad. So that wouldn't have been recent. That would have been ages ago. He did make a deal out of it, but she lied and said it wasn't true. In order for him to make a claim of consent, he has to file it with. But what I'm saying, Chantel, just like it's public record today for him, it was public record back then for him. He could have easily said, I know that not to be true. Can you give me an opportunity to present this information to the court? Because I don't want my child left alone with this man. Is there anything in the paperwork for the divorce decree where he requested an extension or opportunity to show proof that Brianna's dad is a man that went to jail for these types of crimes? If not, then that means he left it alone. Did he keep one in his pocket? He kept the gold coin in his pocket for later use to be vindictive, or like what we talking about? What we talking about? Public record, is easily obtained. If it's public, you got to pay something online. You might have to pay a fee or whatever it might be. But just like he was able to get it today to go file consent, and I'm saying day, I know it wasn't actually today, but you know what I'm saying. He could have did that same thing back then because their divorce situation wasn't a one day; it was dragged out. This is a like their divorce stuff went over a course of time. It wasn't something that happened. They filed, it happened, and then it was closed. Like it was time for them it was time for him to get some paperwork in order. Um, the gate just opened, members only. So yeah, there's some questions that I had. I'm wondering. And y'all come into the chat, drop in what y'all say. Enjoy. Thank y'all for stopping by, you guys. Enjoy y'all members only live. This there is a 71-year-old and a 48-year-old. I don't Is her dad that old? 70, he might be. He look old. 71 seem old, but he might be. He might be that old. Hey Angelina. The daughter has recently mentioned to him that her granddaddy be watching her when her mom go out of town after the divorce decree. The daughter has recently mentioned to him that her granddaddy be watching her when her mom go out of town after the divorce. Yeah, well, but we have seen the daughter. We have seen. Um, that's not it's been like online where we know granddaddy though. Wasn't it a situation where like Ja and the granddad was together, and because Ja wouldn't technically be a third party, right? And it was something about Ja and the dad, but Ja was filling in and helping with the dad. It was kind of like a they were working together to make it happen type time. I feel like I remember something like that. He was giving her grace to be honest, but once she started, yeah, that ain't something we giving grace about. That Chantel, I'm gonna be honest with you, love. You're not making it sound good at all. I appreciate your honesty, but come on, Chantel, think about it, right? She said he was giving her grace to be honest, but once she started keeping his child from him, limiting phone calls despite the agreement, but of course, then it's time to pull out the big guns, I assume. But not with the risk of your daughter's safety. Like that's not something that nobody should play with, regardless of what y'all got going on. The charges that this man had is serious. 30 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. A lot of times they say once you are an offender, you're always an offender. People try to reform and do better, but it's always that question in the back of your mind whether you would do something like that again. Because if you were able to do it once, you could go back and do it again. And so I'm never finna play in my daughter's face knowing that this person, but you know what? That's a big problem in the African American community. Black, African American, whatever you like to label yourself as. We have these types of things that's hush hush, swept under the rug, and overlooked in our families that shouldn't be. It's so many predators within our own family. We don't even have to be worried about the outside world. It be the people in your very own home, underneath your very own roof. People share the same bloodline as you that you have to be worried about. And then these things happen in our households or our families, and nobody not talking about it. And we're still allowing this same person that's committing these heinous crimes, um, abuse, these violations to these kids. We have him at the barbecue to cook out the family reunions, playing around everybody that he's hurting or has hurt, like it ain't nothing. Nah, man, we got to do better as a people. Right, I know that, Azor. It takes money to fight in court. I didn't mean to. He been knew the father was around the daughter. That's lie. Where can we find this information at that the daughter mentioned this? Mm. Where can we find this information of her daughter saying this? He said inside the paperwork that Momo told relayed that to him. You probably won't be able to find out if it was a personal conversation between him and the daughter. He probably asked. Mexican family as well is convicted of one charge and is out on parole, most likely on a RSO. No, this the charge happened August of 1992, and I think it happened August of 1992, and he was charged in 94. But he didn't know about it until after this whole fiasco. So that plus was already trying to fight against her and other things. Just take time, especially if you don't. Nah. All that other BS. My first. I mean, we all different. We all different, right? I have not heard about anything outside of. I have not heard about anything that to me, and we all different. So his priorities, your priorities, and somebody else's priorities is going to be different, right? However, for me, my priority in this situation, knowing that I'm separated from my daughter, who cannot defend herself, who cannot fend for herself, who will likely be afraid to speak up, my first priority would be setting a boundary that to make sure that my daughter is safe. And then we're gonna get around to how often I'm gonna get her. Because first priority is her safety. So I don't know. She got that from Lupac. I heard it on Lupac too. Lupac said from the paperwork that Momo told had relayed to him that she be leaving him alone with the dad. But we can see that on the internet that the kids be left alone with the dad. He is released on parole. I'm looking at his MA information. He on parole nonsense. Oh, get my inbox, love. Question: why is the mother allowing her kids, all of them, to be left alone? That's a good question, but not no excuses. Just keeping it real. That's her dad at the end of the day, right? And she may not know him as that person. Just like a lot of people don't know other people as that person. She loves him. He's raised her. He's cared for her. It looked like they have a really good relationship. So she probably feel like if he did do something like that, he ain't gonna do that to me. He ain't gonna do that to my kids. He love us. That's his old life. That's 30 years ago. He has changed and different. People like to believe people won't that it won't happen to them, or like maybe it wasn't what is being put on paperwork. Maybe he was framed, maybe he was set up. I don't know. That's something I can't answer. Me, if I had a family member, my daddy, I don't know. I don't know. We have something in California called Megan's Law, and you can find these people. Right, Angelina. But unfortunately, when he was convicted of these crimes, it was the registry was not operated. It was not put in place yet. His crimes happened in '92. I think he was charged for him in '94, and the registry in North Carolina didn't open up. I think until '96 or '97. Hey, Ty Ty. He definitely knew. Please go watch his sister page. You will even see Robert down in the comments. All right, I'm gonna go stroll a little bit and go see if I could go find something. If it hopefully is labeled that way, because I'm definitely not gonna watch all her lives to find it. We'll see. Or maybe if I'm able to pop in Queen Fee or Lupac or Harmony Page, I can ask them if it was covered previously and see if they'll tell me. But if he is required to register, no, he's not required to register. His crimes happened before the registry was put in place. He's not required to register because it happened before the registry was put in place from where he is from. But that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. So y'all gave me some more to think about, like talking to y'all and people coming in and giving me stuff because listen, from where I sit, it sounds like they got stuff on both sides. If Robert is playing games and he knew information in the past and now he bringing it up today, I'm trying to figure out why you playing, bro. If they change meetup locations and then Briana all of a sudden out the blue decided I'm not meeting you there, you got to come here. Why we playing games with Momo visitation with her dad, Brie? So what's good? What's up? However, at the end of the day, if a person that was convicted for these types of crimes, especially with children, I do not think that is unreasonable to request that your child is not left alone with them. I also don't think that it's not unreasonable for him to request that when she goes out of town on these trips for business and stuff like that, that Rob has priority for keeping his own child. To me, that makes sense. Now, I'm not saying that he isn't given an opportunity, but based on what he's putting in his paperwork, it sounds like that when Bree go on vacation and things like that, he is not the first one to be asked or given an opportunity to watch over his own child. To me, that is foul. And I know they were trying to say like he wanted permission across the board. No, after reading the paperwork, what I took from what he submitted was this. Locally, no. He was just asking if you're going away somewhere, let me get first dibs on keeping my child. But he wants her to communicate travel plans, which I think is reasonable. I have a child. Their father does not live within my home. So when we're making trips, we're making plans, I'm planning on doing something that is out of her norm. I let him know, I give him the information. I'm not necessarily getting his permission, um, unless it's a situation where I think it could be a little sketchy. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, did I ask this permission on how he felt about it? I think I consulted or asked him. I'm not sure. I'm not taking my baby nowhere. It's gonna be sketchy anyway. But if I think for the other parent, it might be something in question of the where I'm going and what I got going on might be something he might not agree to. I have that conversation because it's his child too. And I don't parent her alone. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think him wanting to be looped in on her plans and things like that is asking for too much. I think that's information that should be communicated regardless, in my opinion. In my opinion, some people feel like I ain't gotta tell you nothing, but I think that just makes life harder. And then, like, what if something happens when you're away and he has no idea that you went here and that y'all went here for this amount of time, and then something happens, God forbid, he don't know where y'all went, who y'all was with, when y'all was supposed to come back. He don't know how to tell people nothing, and he just in the dark. You know what I'm saying? I think we got to think about both sides. We always think like, well, ain't nothing. We just going and we be back. But sometimes people don't be back. Sometimes people don't be back. And for me, I can't stand finding out stuff third party, like having a conversation and all of a sudden I'm finding out, so, oh, you da, 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 da," and then I'm sitting there like, what? What you talking about? Huh? And they're like, oh, he ain't tell you or you ain't know? No. Now I'm feeling like a goofball because these other people know this information and I'm just out the loop when this is my situation, like my child or my spouse or whatever. Like to me, I don't think that's asking for too much, and I don't think that's a form of control. I just think that it's just communication is key when you co-parent and you share a child. So because he was only one charge that he was convicted of, his time on the registry would be 15 years. He got out after 96, so he would have been on it, but his 15 years was over. He not just now making it a big deal. He made sure the boundary was set in the divorce decree. No, because the dad was listed as someone who was okay for her to see. Supervised because he found they were not. The problem is now that they have not been. Oh, you're saying that she never was supposed to be being left alone with the dad? Is that what you're saying? Because in the paperwork, it don't sound like that. It sounds like it's just that the father actually has a record. But you're saying, I think I get what you're saying. You saying him putting that stipulation in was to protect her against that, and Brianna wasn't following it. Is that what you're trying to say? I'm trying to figure it out. He's not just now making it a big deal. He made sure the boundary was set. I know he had the boundary of no parties with a criminal history involved in certain things was supposed to be able to be around Amora, the baby girl. But I'm talking about as far as the dad specifically. It sounds like he just found out like, oh no. I'm not taking up what Brianna father did because if it's true, it's wrong. But Robert have messed with a child as well. His baby mama was 16 and he was 23. Well, I seen messages where that was said that that was not true, Latanya. So I don't know. Some of the information that was prevented looked like that could have been false. I seen where she said that she was underage, but then I seen a timeline that she gave that didn't make sense. Like it didn't make it make sense. So I don't know if that's true or not. That's for me, that's speculation. That's out for, calling immigration. Who you calling immigration on West Cruise? Hmm, calling ICE. Well, you have fun with calling ICE. I hope they're able to get whoever you got looking for him. I was going to talk about one more thing, but I got to go. I wanted to cover May. If you missed me, like, maybe she dropped some tea, and apparently, the possible Polly princess is no longer a possible Polly princess. She's out. That's not true. Or H did not touch a child. Shaking my head. Right. That's why I said, like, from my understanding, is hearsay. Right. I think she meant that not specifically the granddad. I don't want to talk for her. I was waiting for her to respond back. I think the stipulation that anyone with a criminal history was not supposed to be around baby girl, and the father, in fact, has a criminal history. I think that's what she was meaning, but I don't know. However, y'all enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Toodles. And she has hit. Did she nonsense? Wait a minute. You talking about the Polly Princess nonsense hit the YouTube circuit? Wait a minute. Don't go. Let me see what you say. What? Oh gosh. I'm not surprised. Of course, yes, of course. It's in a divorce decree that the child cannot be around another unsupervised without those charges, and that's why it's a bit. Right, right, right. Okay, got you. So. Yeah, I understood that that was in there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The oldest daughter age don't lie. Yeah, well, when I count back on the oldest daughter age for the daughter, the lady would have been of age, not underage, not unless I got their ages wrong. What we talking about? I don't know. But like I said, my inbox is always open if I said anything on here that y'all have actual proof of. Not somebody else saying it, not a third party, but something out of Robert or Brianna's mouth, and or receipts from Robert or Brianna proving like, no, this is not what that was. It was actually this. My inbox is always open. Summer's Room on Facebook, same name, same face. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Talk to y'all. Bye bye. Right.